Okay, so I believe I put this in the comments section of the last James Harden video we did yesterday, but I wanted to make this another topic. James Harden was fined $50,000 for violating the health and safety policy of the NBA. Um, there's not really a lot to this story, the article I had, but he should be available Saturday if testing negative for COVID versus the Blazers. And this was reported by Adrian Wojnarowski. And obviously he would have been like he would have not been able to play against the Thunder, but that game got postponed or canceled or whatever. So I'll go to you first, Nate. What do you think about James Harden being fined 50,000?
But he deserves it. He really does. And I had a lot of people telling me saying he should have gotten suspended. Well, think about all the other athletes that got fined for COVID and they didn't bless you. And think about all the athletes that got fined for the COVID violations and they didn't get suspended. You know what I mean? So I think the NBA did it. I really do. Um, as for James Harden, I really think this should be. I understand you want look, and I said it yesterday. All right, I get you want out of Houston. All right, I get all of that, and whatever you're doing off the court, you're doing a pretty damn good job with expressing that. Excuse me. Um, with that said, I really think he needs to learn from this. Because if he keeps on doing this, I understand he wants out of Houston, but if he keep doing this as a way of saying I want out, think about it. You're gonna be in free agency. All these teams are gonna look at you like, oh, this dude's a troublemaker. You know what I mean? So like, you gotta pick up the pace, man. I don't know what to tell you. And like I said yesterday, got all these athletes, all these young athletes, all these kids, all your friends and family looking up to you, and this is what you're doing. You can't be doing this. It's absolutely unacceptable.
Right. And I mean, I never want to really call an athlete a troublemaker. I never want to do that.
Yeah,
And the reason why, even though if they are acting kind of, if they are being disruptive on their team or in their sport that they play, I never want to call them disruptive because you just never know what they're going through, you know? Like we don't know
right.
what goes on. Like they're people just like us. You know what goes on in their personal lives. Does that give him an excuse to go to parties without a mask? No. Could he be having the time of his life? Absolutely. But I never want to call them troublemakers because like we did the same thing with like guys like Colin Kaepernick. And we did the same thing with guys like Antonio Brown, not knowing what they were going through. And we did the same thing with guys with so many people, you know what I'm saying? Not knowing what they're going through, you know? And now we look at them like completely different. You know what I'm saying? Now Antonio Brown's having a little bit of success with Tampa. Now Colin Kaepernick is basically a trademark. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I mean, has he been disruptive? Absolutely. I'm not gonna deny that. I completely 100% agree with you on that. Should he have been fined? Absolutely. If James Harden decides to take a protest and be like, I'm not playing because this fine is BS, then I don't see a lot of players going behind him, especially due to the fact that what he's arguing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
This is
right.
COVID, and a lot of people feel very serious about COVID,
Absolutely agree.
especially the NBA. They got a whole pot. They got a whole like campaign on COVID. They got a whole campaign on like Black Lives Matter and voting and like being together as one. But they also have a whole campaign on COVID, and COVID is a part of that unity campaign that they always express. So I really can't see a lot of NBA players being like, "Well, we agree with James Harden. He should have been fined $50,000 for not wearing his mask." No, I don't see a lot of NBA players saying that.
I absolutely agree.
And
Um,
and well, before I pass on to you, do I think James Harden will take it to like a protest? I don't think so. But what I will say is this: I think this will be the last time like we hear about James Harden's troubles. We're gonna hear about him not being happy. Obviously, I mean, we can't. Some guy can't automatically overnight can't just be like, you know what, I'm really happy where I am. You know what I'm saying? If he's not happy where he is, we can't change his mind. You know what I'm saying? We can't tell somebody to be happy. But I do think that these shenanigans with James Harden, like throwing the ball at the teammate, showing up late for practice, going to clubs without a mask, I do think that all that's going to stop.
yeah, especially if he wants to play, and especially if he does want to get traded to another team. It's not anything good to have on your resume, but with that said, I really do think the NBA handled this well, and then I hope he learns from his mistakes.